You know what's broken about New York? We built a city that still wants to be the capital of ambition, then made everyday survival feel like an endurance test. The governor talks about affordability, the mayor talks about transformation, and the legislature talks about balance. But for a lot of New Yorkers, that all translates into the same reality: rent that keeps climbing, a transit system that never quite feels dependable, and public services that seem to lag behind the pace of the crisis. On paper, the structure should work. Governor Kathy Hochul runs the state side, shaping budgets and statewide policy. Mayor Zohran Mamdani now runs City Hall with a mandate to make New York more livable and less punishing. Albany and the City Council are supposed to provide oversight, correction, and accountability. In theory, that's governance. In practice, it often feels like a slow-motion argument in which nobody can fully deliver and everybody can fully blame somebody else. And then there's the money problem. New York keeps sending the message that it wants more from everyone: more taxes, more patience, more sacrifice, more tolerance for inefficiency, while offering less confidence that the system will reward risk, investment, or even basic stability. That is how you get a city where people with options start wondering whether the math still works. Not because they hate New York, but because New York keeps making itself harder to justify. The wealthy don't just leave because of one policy or one speech. They leave when the whole environment starts to feel hostile to permanence. They leave when the tax burden feels heavy, the rules feel unpredictable, and the city seems more interested in signaling virtue than preserving a healthy economic base. And every time the governor and mayor lean harder into rhetoric without producing visible relief, they reinforce that fear. The result is not just frustration, it's drift. Meanwhile, the rest of the city absorbs the cost. Housing gets tighter, pressure on services gets worse, transit feels more strained, trust keeps shrinking. The city starts to behave like a machine that can still attract money, talent, and attention, but cannot keep enough of it long enough to build lasting stability. That's the real problem. New York is still powerful, still famous, still magnetic, but when the people with the most options begin looking elsewhere, and the people with the fewest options are left carrying the burden, the city stops feeling like a ladder and starts feeling like a trap, and that is broken.